This is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review. I don't know if you guys caught that at all, but I will be putting that down in the end of my credits. I don't know, well, probably somewhere in the main credits somewhere. I'm gonna try to choose maybe different credit things where I can fit more credits into the space. But that was just to make sure that I know it. That was George Friedrich Handel Sarabon from the main title of Barry Lyndon. I figured I'd switch it up. Once again, I don't know if it came through, and if it didn't, I will probably have to do a different thing to possibly put things in, because I would like to use some themes from my favorite movies. Hopefully not too long, so I don't get that. But if YouTube slaps me with a copyright injunction or something, so be it. We'll see what I can do in the future. But also, as well, I figured I'm going to be honest with you guys. Because of the current things going on, I'm going to be honest with you guys. There's going to be something I'm going to say at the end of every video now because I'm passionate about it. He will not be a representative of mine, and I refuse to have a representative of his. And I admit, if it costs me subscribers to where I have nobody watch these videos or do any of this stuff anymore, fine. But this is how I feel. This is my opinion. And in my opinion, I'm not going to support anything this man does, because I know he's been very shady, shifty, and regardless of what people tell me about the man that I supported, hey, we all have our opinions, and I guess if we're going to be possibly butthurt by opinions, what are we doing any of these videos and things like that anyway, because, hey, but I'm just saying, I really don't care anymore, and I'm going to say, I know I post stuff on YouTube, but I am tired of the poisonous crap on YouTube, the poisonous crap on Twitter, Facebook. I don't know how this stuff got, but I'm going to use this platform because I like to post things for the people that watch, and I'm not going to become one of these political nuts or anything, but I'm just going to say what I say at the end of this video may tick a lot of you off, but it's just how I feel, and I will never support this individual. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but you probably can tell who it is by the way I'm already acting about it. But that's enough of that. We will get into it. Today we have another movie review, and we are continuing on with the action section, action adventure section. And for those of you who don't know, on a quick side note, we will be doing the Marvel movies as well. I'll probably just be doing the first arc of the Marvel arcs, and then when I go through watching the next part of the arcs as well, that's probably when I'll do those other, comic book and Marvel arcs, because, comic book movies are just, really a surge into a huge thing, and I think some are good, and some just come out too much, and some, could have been way better than they've been portrayed, and we'll get into that with Captain America Civil War. That's one I don't own yet. I think I still need Ant-Man as far as the Marvel universe is concerned. I need to get the Ant-Man film first, but like I said, whenever I do it, Captain America Civil War, it was still a good movie, but after what I was told about the Civil War movies, yeah, I want Marvel to redo it, or I want Disney to redo it, because the Civil War should not be, a bunch of people, show up at an airport in the back of vans, now let's fight it out. Yeah. But, other than that, we'll get to my next movie, because like I said, the comic book films are, I'll basically come out and say shit within themselves, but and good and bad. I'm not saying shit like they're all bad, but I'm going to say they're shit within themselves because they're good, and then there are ones that are not so good. Believe me, you'll find that out when we get to the first couple of arcs within the Iron Man films, because like I said, I probably won't talk about Iron Man 3 right away, but man, when we also get to Iron Man 2, that should have been a lot better than what it was, too. I mean, Iron Man 2 was still a good movie, but I will give the one glaring fact that I didn't like about it, similar to what they did in 3. Well, 3 has a few glaring facts, but it's like, yeah. But we'll, like I said, we'll get into that at a later time. But it is time for this one here. Wapow! Lethal Weapon 2 today. Lethal Weapon 2, and let's see, I'm also going to try to pull up the list here because I forgot. I'm always trying to make sure I have my list of things going, but you know, you'll do what we can, and hey, and all that other good stuff. Let's see. Come away. I have no idea what that is. Oh boy, you know, some of these dang things. See here. Sorry, I don't mean to be stagnant, guys. Like I said, I'm doing my searches, so give me a moment. I want to make sure, you know, that if I have any questions on characters and things like that, I've got, like, stuff in hindsight, and that is there. There we go. All right. Popularity on Lethal Weapon 2 is down. I don't see why, but given the darn time of things, jeez Louise. But like let's see. You have let's see. You have Lethal Weapon 2 start out with the cops Riggs and Murtaugh working together. They're actually in a downtown chase where they're downtown chasing after, you know, a guy in a car, like, because there's these two gentlemen in a getaway car trying to get away. I think they stole a whole bunch of, like, diamonds or something weird like that, and they stole these diamonds and are trying to get away. Riggs and Murtaugh are chasing them down, and as they're chasing them down, you know, I think Riggs does some of his, like, crazy stuff right in the beginning, and they do a whole bunch of, like, different things. I can't believe I can't remember the opening of this movie off the top of my head. I mean, I probably should because Lethal Weapon 2 is my it's my second favorite in the series, Lethal Weapon 2. But yeah, I can't remember. They're chasing the jewel thieves down. They stop the jewel thieves. The car, I think, crashes into an adjacent building. You know, they're trying, like, Riggs and Murtaugh get out with a bunch of other cops, and these two guys start blazing away. One of the guys, whose name is Hans, played by Mark Ralston, escapes and gets away down another way that Riggs and Murtaugh, I think, don't see. The other guy, I believe, gets gunned down by, I think it's Riggs who, it's Riggs who guns him down. His Murtaugh, like, I think was, like, looking after the other guy, but, like, couldn't keep up or couldn't find him or see where he went. So, that part happened, but, you know, they stop this guy and they find out that this guy, I think, had, you know, jewelry, you know, that they have the diamonds, they have the weapons, they had a whole bunch of different things that they don't necessarily know what's going on, but you know, they thought it was just weird, but they're thinking like these guys were, you know, ready for some sort of trade and some sort of war. So they start going through it. We have Hans get back to a office building where we find out where there's these two guys there. There's this one guy, Peter Vorstedt, who's played by Derek O'Connor, who's like a henchman to the main villain, who you know, is overseeing the project, because that's where Hans went. He went to go see the main villain of the guy, and he's going to see Arjun Rudd, this apparent businessman as he looks like, played by Joss Ackland. He's talking how he, like Hans starts to say that he lost the hall. He didn't mean to. They ran into trouble with the cops. He's saying like how it'll never happen again. Arjun Rudd tells Hans to stand over, near some plastic because he's having his office room redone, and Hans stands at the plastic, and then you have Peter Vorstead walk forward, and then Hans says a few things like, "Oh, don't worry, it's an occupational hazard," something like that. Then Peter Vorstead turns right around, shoots Hans right in the head, killing him, and then Vorstead basically rolls Hans up like a burrito in the plastic, basically showing they're gonna dump the body. And you have Arjun Rudd say, "We have to accelerate our plans now." So the movie continues, with the usual antics of, Riggs and Murtaugh, the jokes at the police station. We see a whole bunch of their friends. They made a lot of new friends, and we see how, Riggs is showing his police buddies. Like, I got all their names here and the people they play, because there's a whole bunch of them. I'm gonna, run through them, really quick. It's, let's see, Jeanette Goldstein, who plays Megan Shapiro. Dean Norris plays Tim Cavanaugh. Junie Smith plays Tom Weiler. You have Nestor Serrano, who plays Eddie Esteban, which I keep forgetting about, which is always really cool to me. You have Philip Soriano, who played Joseph Ragucci. I know there's more, because I want to say, I believe, Grandel Bush played, and Grandel Bush played Jerry Collins. Because I'm like, I thought Grandel Bush was in there, and they're like, oh, they're police buddies from the precinct, and Riggs is showing him like how he got this injury. I think he said from a car accident or from something that happened where he could dislocate his shoulder at will, and he could just slam it against something to pop it in, because they had him in like a straight, or no, it wasn't a straight jacket. He was in cuffs, and he slammed his shoulder again, or no, he dislocated his shoulder to get out of the cuffs and to get away. And he basically gets out, like like Riggs and Murtaugh's friends were like paying up a bunch of money to because they took a bet that Riggs couldn't get out of it. And then you have Mary, I forgot, check really quick, but I don't know if she has a name yet, but it's the psychiatrist for the first movie, Mary Ellen Trainor. She's once again in this film, and she's just, I know she gets a name at some point, but she's listed as the police psychiatrist, and Mary Ellen Trainor plays the police psychiatrist, where Riggs is basically talking her up, using smooth talk, saying, hey, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm a free-loving guy, I'm not trying to kill myself anymore. And she's not convinced. She still thinks Riggs is a loose cannon, he'll do whatever he needs, and he's just out of control. So Riggs is just teasing her, and it's driving the police psychiatrist nuts. Murtaugh tries to ring Riggs in, so they go into Captain Murphy's office, played by Steve Kanan again. And Captain Murphy says, I have a job for you two. You two have to watch over this guy who's been promised police protection, who is going after who's in trouble with some bigwigs that we don't know about, and you guys have to protect him. And it turns out that like when they get to Leo, they don't know what to expect. But as soon as they're getting to Leo, they get to this guy Leo's place, and Leo Getz turns out to be this sort of funny, but yet annoying, but funny guy, because Joe Pesci really plays this annoyingly funny character who you love and you hate at the same time, named Leo Getz. And I know I said his name earlier, but that's who Joe Pesci plays, as Leo Getz. And he's just sort of like Weasley, but yet annoying, like funny type of guy that he plays in the film, where he's this guy who said, he's hiding out because he took some money from these I don't know if he says mafia men, but he's like this one gang he took some money from, and I think he said it was over I think it was $1.5 million or something like that Leo Getz took from him, because like Leo Getz is a bookie, and he's like an accountant bookie, to where like he took track of the money, and he took money from these guys because he knew these guys weren't up to no good, so he stole money from them, and he got out of their business because he knew that they weren't good, but he knew as soon as he would do that, Leo Getz was a marked man and he was dead. So, that's why he called the police. But, he's in this hotel. He's, lavished and posh, trying to live a good life. He's trying to offer stuff to Riggs and Murtaugh. Riggs and Murtaugh are already getting annoyed by Leo. What happens is there's a man who brought up some room service who was an assassin trying to kill Leo, and Riggs tries to fight off this assassin, and you have I don't know. Well, no. I think Leo went with him, because I think Leo was also on the cart that Riggs is on too. So basically, this assassin, Riggs, and Leo go over the side. Or no, they go out the window over to the side. Because they're on like one of the top floors. So they go out the window over the side into the pool, to where I believe Riggs kills the assassin and saves Leo Getz, and like Leo's like, I can't remember if he was saying he couldn't swim or like what was going on, but I know Leo was like freaking out, and Riggs had a hold of him, trying to get him to stop, and Murtaugh comes running down trying to check to make sure they're both okay, so they know that something big happened. It was out of their like hands, and they didn't know what to say. So, they spend the film with Leo, taking him around because they're trying to protect him, and, there's like a couple other things that's just weird, and, goes along with that at the time. And as it happens, we find out that Leo basically says where he took the money from was like who these gangbangers were a group of men working for a South African consulate, and this was during the time where I think the African country was at war with the British occupation in South Africa, because like South Africa was still like a colony settlement of England, or once again predominantly was predominantly white, where African people who were black who lived there, like I think they said in the audio commentary, there was a type of civil war. So they know that this is who these people were, and they start to make the connection to it. So Riggs and Murtaugh, they try to go there to see what these guys are all about, and like Murtaugh and Leo go into the consulate, to where Murtaugh is trying to like speak to them, and they're saying, well, why do you want to do this and that? And it's like, well, because I'm tired of you guys. I want to go to Africa to do what I need to do, and I want to help the South Africans. And then I think the South African guy was helping him up. He's like, but you're black, and like that became a whole joke within the movie, and Murtaugh and Leo were basically making a big fuss over themselves, to where Riggs snuck in and got up to Arjun Rudd's office, and Arjun Rudd, and Peter Vorstedt are still there, and you have like him being with a bunch of guys, and like they're throwing shade back and forth, like Riggs is trying to test them to see if they really are these people that Leo says are the ones who are running the show. He basically discovers that that's sort of where this is heading, so when they try to muscle Riggs out of Arjun Rudd's office, Riggs pulls a gun and he's like, hey, you want to get crazy? You want to go? Like, starts doing a lot of his Three Stooges routine. He's like, let's go, because he has his Beretta on Arjun Rudd saying, you want to like test things, let's go right ahead. And I think he like shoots out I don't know if it's a fish tank or a window, but he shoots out something of Arjun Rudd's, and He basically walks out of the office with the guys in tow. And, Arjun Red's ticked, and he's, like, looking at Peter Vorstead, like, all upset. And he's, like, yelling obscenities. And, like, Peter Vorstead starts looking around him to where Arjun Red says, "What are you doing?" And Vorstead's like, "I was just trying to make sure I wasn't standing on any of the plastic." Because I don't want to really die today. So he was making a light joke of what Arjun wanted him to do. And so they start to gather information on like Leo Getz and Arjun Wright, Peter Vorstead, and all these South African guys. Leo leads them to a stilt house in Los Angeles where there's this literal actual real house on stilts, and they go up there to see where these South African guys are actually, they're counting, like what looks to be like millions of dollars that they don't know where they got. There's these guns. I think they see the diamonds that they were chasing earlier in the beginning of the movie, or more of the diamonds that they had confiscated. So it's clear that Arjun Red and team are, behind basically no good. And, they, like, Riggs and Murtaugh try to sneak in. It's found out that they want to break into this place and stop them. So they get to the two guys that are there, because I think there's like one or two guys. And what happens is I think that like both these guys start to run, and they brush past Riggs and Murtaugh. They're trying to stop them, but they can't really do it. And they get into this car and take off to where, or no, they get into this truck and take off to where Riggs gets on top of the truck, starts chasing after him. You have Leo like chasing after him as well. And then you have Riggs trying to take in pursuit. And after this pretty dang funny chase, they arrest, I believe, the two men that were there. And when they make the arrest, you have like Arjun Rudd, Peter Vorstead, and all these other guys from the South African consulate come in, and they basically like fish around for Captain Murphy and these policemen, saying that they have diplomatic immunity, they can't be touched. You want to be careful about the consequences you're creating here, because it may be like they literally basically threaten the police force for the most part, and saying you don't want to keep going down this avenue. And I do apologize, guys, that if it sounds like that my thoughts on this are not like well put together, because for some reason I can't remember the exact flow of this movie and how it was meant to go. Like I said, I give you raw and off the cuff movie reviews because, like I said, I have so many now, so many films and things to see that it's like, and I mean, I'll admit, it has been probably a good, like, almost a year since I've seen these movies. So, I mean, it's funny how I can remember the first one, when I did the first one a lot better than the second one. I don't know why that is, because like I say, I like the second one a whole lot better than the first one. First one's still good, don't get me wrong, but the second movie was a lot better than the first. And I feel bad that I'm sort of all over the place with it. So I do apologize about that. So, like, you have that problem there. But I mean, like I said, this is why I like it. Raw and out the cuff, no script, no nothing. I just do what I can by mind to give you the movie review. So getting back to it, that's why they couldn't do anything with Arjun, Rod, Vorstead, or any of the other guys, because they have the diplomatic immunity. So what happens is they get Leo Getz again to the safe place. Both Riggs and Murtaugh, head home. They do what they need to do. I think Riggs is in his trailer, or no, Riggs actually goes back to the South African consulate. He sees this secretary of Arjun Rudd's, whose name is Rika Van Denhaas, and she's played by Patsy Kensit. And like Riggs, talks to Rika, to get not only information on Arjun Rudd, but he actually starts to like her, and they actually start dating. Sadly, around this time though, Vorstead has started following Riggs, and they know about this relationship, and they're starting to watch all the cops' movements. So they start to have that type of thing with each other. But what happens is they're fine for the first night, but on the next day, Riggs goes to work. He realizes Murtaugh isn't there. Tries to call Murtaugh at home. Nobody's there because I think Riggs went to go check on Leo. So you have Riggs and Leo like together with each other. And what happens is when Riggs gets to Murtaugh's house, Riggs and Leo get to Murtaugh's house. They see that Murtaugh is sitting on the toilet, and they're making fun of it. They're saying, Roger, why can't you move? Was the poop that bad, or were you shocked into what happened, or couldn't you get it up last night? So they said a whole bunch of weird things like that. But then on the toilet paper rack to the toilet that Murtaugh was using, and I should say on a side note too, they were rebuilding their house from what happened in the first movie when they drove a car through it to stop Joshua from getting away. But either way, they look on the toilet paper dispenser, and written on the toilet paper says, careful when you sit on the toilet or something, maybe you're last or whatnot. And, Murtaugh was afraid to move, and Riggs checks it. There is a bomb tied to Murtaugh's toilet, so if Murtaugh gets off the toilet, it's spring released for his weight, so if he gets off the toilet, the bomb explodes, killing him. So you have Riggs and Leo call the police department, and they call a bomb squad. They get the bomb squad in there. The rest of their friends are making fun of them. Murtaugh is upset. He's embarrassed by the situation. Riggs is like making fun of him, but he sympathizes with what's going on for most of it. And we hear from the bomb squad guys that they really can't just defuse it. Like, they have to set up this impenetrable wall to try to get Murtaugh off. So they're saying that, Murtaugh gets off the toilet, they get around, they put these flak jackets in the tub, and he's saying, basically run off the toilet, jump off the toilet, get in the tub, get yourself around the flak jackets, and, you'll be fine, hopefully, when the bomb goes off. And ultimately what happens is you have, Murtaugh saying he can't do it. Riggs volunteers to stay with them. Leo wants to stay too, but the other cops, don't let Leo stay. So the other cops and Leo are ushered out of the room. Murtaugh and Riggs are there. They have a quick spiel about saying how they're both there, albeit in funny ways. And then they both jump off together from the toilet, and then basically the toilet blows up. It goes hilariously flying out of the house on top of one of the cop cars through the explosion, and both, Riggs and Murtaugh survive the experience. Needless to say, though, Arjun Rudd and the rest of the South African guys are not happy about this. They're not happy that the police haven't been deterred to stay away. They're still getting in their business. Riggs, Murtaugh, and even other members of the police are starting to really crack down on things. So ultimately what happens is Arjun Rudd says, we're really now stepping up, and it's now time to play hardball. So sadly you have Peter Vorstead and other South African members. You see in this police montage, they you have basically Weiler working at home, and he had one of the things at the bar where you hang from your feet with the bar upside down, and it was a workout thing. Vorstead came into his house, and he's like, "How's it hanging, Weiler?" And basically, shoots him while he's upside down. You have what's her name? I think Kavanaugh's car exploded. Yeah, Kavanaugh's car exploded. You had Megan Shapiro. She was gonna like jump off her diving board into her pool because I guess it was her day off duty, and the diving board exploded, killing her as she landed in the pool. Then you had Eddie Esteban, Joseph Rangucci, Jerry Collins, and oh yeah, it was those three guys. Yeah, those three guys basically getting together. They were playing a card game, and like they're sitting down at the card game. I think Collins got a beer, and as soon as he sat down and got his beer, the whole house exploded, killing all three of them. And basically you have top members of the police department taken out by the South Africans, and you had Riggs, who was with Rika again, and they were spending the night with each other. What happens is you have a helicopter come up to Riggs's trailer that was near a cove, like a cove near the mountain on a private part of the beach that was secluded. Nobody was there, and you had you still had Riggs's dog there that basically got out. Well, yeah, Riggs's dog was the first one to hear the helicopter coming, and he got out. Riggs noticed this. He woke up Rika. The helicopter starts taking shots at his trailer. Basically both him and Rika duck and get out of it. He tells Rika to go run. Rika takes off running. Riggs starts to fight off the helicopter guy. I think he takes the helicopter guy. Yeah, I think he takes the helicopter guy out. Takes him out, and he has that done. But then as soon as he tries to get away to rejoin Rika, he's caught by Peter Vorsted and the others, and they're beating him down. Or no. What happens is he brings Rika back to her house, and as soon as he drops Rika back to her house, you have because Sam, his dog Sam was in the back of the truck. I forgot about that. His dog Sam was in the back of the truck, like he was underneath some tarps in the back of the truck. But he brought Rika back home, and when he gets Rika back home, that's when he's jumped by Vorsted and the South African guys. They get him, and he's all like, or he's in a straitjacket and chained, and they have him beat down, and then all of a sudden. You have Peter Vorsted tell, Riggs, he's like, I remember you. There was a cop who was getting close to one of our groups, our subgroups several years ago, and it was causing trouble. I was supposed to kill him in what looked like an accidental car accident, but all I found out about was I just killed his wife. And, you have Vorsted getting close to Riggs, and he's like, too bad you couldn't have been in the car instead of your wife, huh? And he freaks out knowing that he found out the truth about his wife's killer, that Vorsted, killed his wife, and you basically had him try to get at him, but he couldn't. And what happens is they threw Riggs into the ocean at the dock. And, he's sinking and going down. The South African guys take off. Sam got out of his truck before the South African guys took the truck again. And Sam's trying to, bark and get, Riggs' attention. Riggs is still trying to get out of the ocean. And as he's struggling to get out of the ocean, because he dislocates his shoulder again to get out of the straitjacket, he sees that Rika is down in the ocean with him. And he's freaking out, getting free, trying to save her, gets her body, brings her up, tries to resuscitate her, but can't. Sadly, Rika gets killed, so now you have another reason for Riggs to be pissed off. Murtaugh, who has Leo at the time, they went back to Murtaugh's house, and, Murtaugh was going to check something out to make sure it was safe. I forgot. There was some evidence, I think, that was there. And what happened is there were guys from the South African consulate who were waiting there. They basically got in Murtaugh's car and kidnapped Leo from there, and they took Leo away. And while, that happened, Murtaugh heard something, and then all of a sudden, in one of the construction zones that were being reworked for the house, this guy came out of nowhere, grabbed Murtaugh. Him and Murtaugh are fighting. Murtaugh's trying to get away. Murtaugh goes for the closest thing he has, which is a nail gun, And I think he like nailed the guy once in the stomach and twice in the head with the nail gun. So it's a bit of a gruesome scene, but it's like, damn, you do what you have to do. So, you have Murtaugh realized they took Leo. They know their friends have been killed. Yeah, I think they found out that. Oh yeah, because Murtaugh gets the call from the captain saying that all their partners and stuff had been killed. Riggs, I believe, found out from Peter Vorstad. So yeah, both Riggs and Murtaugh meet up. I think midway from Murtaugh's house, because you basically had I think Riggs found a car, or maybe they did leave his truck. I'm not too sure, but one of the two things happened. But they met midway. They wanted to finish this, and they knew where they had to go first. You had Murtaugh and Riggs go back to the Stilt House where there were these South African guys basically torturing and interrogating Leo. Leo looked sad. He was getting beat up. He was like whimpering because he knew he was in trouble, and he really couldn't do anything to get out. But what happens is you had a I forgot, Riggs still had his truck, because what they did was they hooked up a winch on Riggs's truck to the Stilt House, and both Murtaugh and Riggs pulled part of the Stilt House down, which was a nice model shot in the movie. So they pulled the Stilt House down, basically sending some of the guys out to the floor, and I think they take the rest of the guys out by like shooting them. They save Leo. Leo's all grateful. He's happy, that they came back, that they didn't leave him, and he said, I've never had better friends than you guys. I'm grateful for you guys. Hey, and they tell Leo to, basically say, hey, don't wait up for us. Get to the police station. Tell them what's happening. Tell them we're gonna go. And Leo says he knows where they were at. They were at the dock shipyards. So they take Leo's information and go to the dock shipyards while Leo goes to the cops. And you basically get at these dock shipyards, and you have this whole intense fight scene where Murtaugh and Riggs take out the rest of the South African guys on this ship that they're on. And it's like a cool scene of them sneaking around, taking out these guys, shooting them, fighting them. And it actually leads to a part where Vorstad finds, where Vorstad finds Riggs and they have it out. But before Vorstad and Riggs fight, like you had Riggs taking out this one guy that he was shooting because he was incensed. He really wanted to kill these guys, because you have it saying where he's saying basically for all his friends, because I think it was I don't know if this is the right order, but he's like, for Shapiro, Kavanaugh, Weiler, Esteban, Bergucci, Collins, like he names them all off, because that's how pissed he is. Because like, this is what I like about these movies. You have the sense of the camaraderie between the police department and everything they do. Like, this is like a close knit family, and that in a way is somewhat what it is. And when you build these friendships, it sucks to see it. And Richard Donner showed that perfectly in these movies, and I love it because it was really shown well in the Lethal Weapon movies that these guys really had each other's back, and the police department was like a brotherhood. So I liked how Riggs was shown portrayed, like how every bullet he took at these guys was for his fallen friends, like a sense of vengeance and justice in the same go. So basically, Vorstad catches up with Riggs. They have a battle, and I think I think it's the cargo hold area. They have a battle in the cargo hold area. They're fighting out, and both Vorstad and Riggs know martial arts, so it's a very, very good fight. Both these guys are going at it really well, and a great back and forth. And I forget what it is, but I think Riggs breaks Vorstad's neck, killing him, and like he went through hell with Vorstad fighting him, so he's already weakened. So out of nowhere, we see Arjun Rudd with a I think it was a Luger that he had. He had a Luger or something of some sort, but he starts shooting Riggs with it. Riggs does go down. He gets shot a few times and goes down. He's still alive though. And then you have Murtaugh show up, and Murtaugh is basically sitting there trying to cover him, and you have Arjun Rudd run out of bullets, and he like tosses the gun, and like you have Murtaugh pointing the gun at him where he does his head crack thing to where he's going to do a crack shot like he did in the first movie, and then like because Arjun Red thinks he's safe, he takes out his ID again, and he goes diplomatic immunity, and like all of a sudden, it's like Murtaugh doesn't care either. It's like bam, and shoots Arjun Red right in the head, and Murtaugh has one of the best lines I think in the second movie where he's like, diplomatic immunity, boom, just been revoked. And it's like, yes, awesome. And basically the two are together. Murtaugh is trying to make sure Riggs isn't dying. Riggs is luckily okay. They survived the ordeal. The movie fades out to where you have the police coming in, to the shipyards and stuff like that, and that's how the second movie ends. And it's a great movie. I mean, the story really amped it up, and to find out the truth about what happened to Riggs's wife, where Vorstead and the South Africans were responsible for her death, how this takes from one and even plays into two. That was a thing of beauty because I didn't expect it, but then when you think about it and you see the second movie, it makes sense because it did say Riggs was that good of a cop, and if he was getting that close, what better way to make life a living hell from him by either killing him or taking out his wife or doing both? And obviously Riggs was not with his wife, so his wife got taken out instead of him. So that was an awesome thing to play off of. Great one-liners in this. I really did enjoy the inclusion of Joe Pesci. I think he's a funny, great character. Joe Pesci still has his, potty mouth in this one. So, Joe Pesci's like cursing and swearing all over the place, but still, it's great stuff. Great fun, great chemistry between the three main characters. Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Joe Pesci have great chemistry together. Awesome characterization. I loved their friends, even though they were like short supporting roles, but seeing Jeanette Goldstein in here, Dean Norris. I know I've seen Junie Smith on other things, but I can't remember. Nestor Serrano, and Grandel Bush. A lot of these guys are 80s actors, and actresses, but still seeing them all in this movie was great. Seeing the police psychiatrist again was great. So all this stuff came together just so well. So I mean, it's a great movie, and let's see. I think all these movie scores were done by Michael Kamen. Yeah. It was well for this one. It was let's see. Yeah. Oh yeah. They did add somebody because it was Michael Kamen and Eric Clapton. So it's still Michael Kamen, Eric Clapton, and now they also added David Sanborn to these things, who helps score the music with Kamen and Clapton. So they did a great, movie score for the second movie, very similar to the first, but still high octane when it needed to be. Told moving moments when it needed to be, and it was done, very, very, very well, and it came off, very good. Like I said, it's very exciting. The action is great. The story was way more surprising in this one, and more things were on the line, and their friends getting taken out in this one was sad and stuff. So two had way more on the line than the first one did. Not taken away from the first movie, but Lethal Weapon 2 is, I mean, it's a great sequel to the first one, and I would suggest people to see it. And ultimately, like I said, and coming out right now. But ultimately, what do you guys think of Lethal Weapon 2? Leave down in the comments what you think about this movie. Do you like it? Do you even like the Lethal Weapon quadrilogy? Do you even know this quadrilogy exists? Just let me know what you guys think, because, I mean, it's great stuff. I never, once again, did see the TV show. I wanted to, and, now there's probably not going to be a chance, now with it being canceled, with, I think they said the guy playing Riggs, or the guy playing Riggs leaving the show, so, it's an interesting thing, but still, it's a great movie, so I would urge you guys to mention what you think about it. And now, to my part at the end. And this is basically what I'm going to say. Why? Because you guys know what comes at the end, and that's the end of it. But I will say deuces to you guys, and I'll see you guys for another movie review. And here's a surprise I'm going to add at the end of every video. As long as this man possibly gets his position and may get it, I hope he doesn't, because I believe, and this is where the truth will come out if you still don't know what I'm talking about, because I believe he was involved in massive voter fraud. And I know we've had it probably in this country before, but this year it's been friggin' ridiculous. And once again, you don't need to tolerate my opinion, or you don't need to care for it. And I don't even care if this makes me lose the subscribers I currently have, which is about 12. But if it does cause me to lose subscribers, I don't care. I'll still put these things on for people to see. And you can just watch the whole thing right at the end. You know, you can watch the whole thing right up till this point here. But I will admit, if this man becomes president, I'm going to say it at the end of every video and leading up to the point until we know the truth and what happens. Because if he does, I'm saying this up till now, till if he does become president, until the end of his presidential year. And you know, hey, if I forget, cool, that'll probably make you guys happy if I forget, but I'm probably going to say it at the end of every video as long as I remember. So, I'll have to remind myself, too, that I remember every time. So, here we go. And that is, and I'll just come out and say it plainly now, and that is, fuck Joe Biden. Later.